here we are on the road again. This time I'm heading from Charlottesville to two different locations in Ohio. One is Mount Vernon, the other one Chillicothe. And I'm doing so in this new documentary mobile, which I just snatched for a very at a very affordable price of $4,000. It's a Mazda B4000. It's a truck that has like an extended cabin that allows me to carry most of my gear, drones, cameras, and what have you, especially the heavy tripods, right here in the extended cabin, leaving everything else open space for improvisation. Now, what am I doing in Ohio? This is part of the film on black fiddlers, a film that we're doing in collaboration with Ben Hunter in Seattle, Rhiannon Giddens in between North Carolina and Ireland, England, and with Jacqueline DeJeje at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. I can think also of Nicole Cherry and Jared Jr., of course, the co-founders of the project, David McCormick and Lauren Ludwig from Early Music Access in Charlottesville. We're also heavily relying on local historians, researchers, Justice Dan Foster in San Antonio, and Marshall Wyatt in Raleigh, North Carolina. So we're a bunch of people. I'm just the tip of the iceberg here in I-64 heading north, tracing on the footsteps of two mixed race children of Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings, who happened to be fiddlers. They also call dances square dancing. This is all in the early 1800s. Early to mid 1800s. Both of them were freed by Jefferson on his death, and they lived in Charlottesville for about 10 years, from 1826, which is when Jefferson passed, and here we are, crossing into West Virginia now. Wild and wonderful. So this is the road they took 10 years after they were freed, when they decided that they can't stay any longer in Charlottesville. First, because there has been a horrible financial crisis called the Panic of 1837. Also, the rules of segregation were increasingly getting more and more outrageous, and also because they didn't perceive themselves as black, culturally speaking, or just by standing in front of the mirror. If we think of the fact that Sally Hemings was 1/8 black, that would make any of this of her children with Thomas Jefferson 1/16 black. They did not look black at all. but they still were treated as blacks and joined the black community in Charlottesville. And understandably so, given the circumstances, they just wanted to go west, this direction, and settled somewhere where people would not know who they were. Eventually, their origins will catch up with them, and they will also be pointed at and segregated in Ohio as well. And that's why, well, Madison dies in Chickasaw, but Eston would eventually pass as white way up north in Madison, Wisconsin, where he's buried. But we're also chasing after a different story, another story of black fiddlers in Ohio. And this is the story of the Snowden family band. It's an amazing story. It was researched thoroughly by two academics based in Mount Vernon who wrote this book, which I highly recommend it if you haven't read it yet. Way Up North in Dixie. And they are Howard and Judy Sachs, with whom I'm meeting tomorrow to get their story on film. The Snowdens are credited today with having been the true author, I would say, behind the very southern anthem of the Confederacy, Dixie. I wish it was Dixie. Hooray, hooray. Which has always been claimed by and credited to a white gentleman called Daniel Emmett. But this is what we're after in Mount Vernon, to get the story straight and to learn of the legacy of those black fiddlers who free blacks and enslaved runaways, made their way to the last frontier at the time, from states like North Carolina, Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, and even New York, Pennsylvania, and Illinois. And they just kept it going west, and they changed the geography, and they changed the cultural landscape of this country. So hopefully I'll be able to tell you a lot more after tomorrow, after talking to Judy and Howard Sachs, and after visiting the places that is still hold the echo that reverberates of this fascinating tunes played by the Snowdens and the children of Sally Hemings and Thomas Jefferson. Until then, that's all for today.